Hi, this is Laura from LauraLoveCoach.com, also known as LiveVisions.com. And I wanted to talk to you. Have you ever had a situation where you felt like, why am I in this relationship nightmare? Whether it's an abusive relationship, or you attract science projects, or they're possessive, controlling, or very critical of you, or even abusive. Let's get into it right now. And let's see, do you have something in your chart that would indicate you may have these problems? Let's get into it. Now, first we have to figure out what your ascendant sign is, right? So go to LauraLoveCoach.com, put this video on pause, and once you go to the website, go to directory on the website, and then go to chart calculator. I want you to put your birth information in there, including the time of your birth, and it'll give you your ascendant sign or rising sign. Both of those names are synonymous. They mean the same thing. Rising sign or ascendant sign. And then come back to this video once you know your rising sign, okay? All right, so let's get into it. Rising signs with difficult relationships. Well, I want to say one that sticks out to me is Virgo. If you're a Virgo rising, you could attract people who are creative geniuses, spiritual people, right? People who are very compassionate, right? But I want to say there's octaves in astrology, right? And those are the high octaves of the sign of Pisces. And again, I'm talking about Virgo. Your opposite sign for partnership would be Pisces. That's what I'm talking about, okay? So creative genius, spiritual, compassionate, all of those are the high octave of that sign, right? The low octave of this sign would be someone who's doing drugs, alcohol, illusion, delusion, deception, right? Somebody who's not honest, right? So, in Virgo, you may have the feeling of, I want to fix, help, or save this person, right? And you have to look at someone, and you're going to start realizing this the more people you date. Like, why am I always finding science projects? What's going on, right? So if you've already found someone who is creative or spiritual, that's probably what you're looking for mostly. And they put their time, their energy, and possibly their money in you, and they mean what they say and say what they mean, then I want to say you could invest. But also look at them and say, because Virgo rising, you're always going to find people who need help. Are they needing help from you because they're in a situation, or because they're their own crown of thorns and they perpetuate their own misery or problems? And if that's the case, then run. So I'm going to give you an example. A man who lives at home with his mother because he's getting divorced but is getting his new house built and it's not done yet. Versus the man who lives at home with his mother in his basement because she cooks, cleans, and does his laundry. And he has no ambition to do any of those things on his own. You see the difference? Both of them need help in some way, or getting help from the mom. But one is a situationship, and the other one is just, a sinking ship, okay? So you see the difference, and you're going to have to look at those as you pick out your partner. Sorry, I just want to make sure my cat is not. Okay. All right. So Virgo, I want to say, and also not falling in love with their potential, but falling in love with who they really are. So you know how you have that mentality of, I can fix, help, and save them. You can't be holding and carrying the entire relationship. It is a partnership, a two-way street. And a lot of Virgos tend to carry relationships, and it's not a one-way street sign. It is not, their way or your way. It's, two ways, right? So if you have somebody leaning on you but never lifting you, that is an unequal partnership, right? So you have to say to yourself, if you have to say, with my help, I could fix, help, or save this person, and then things would be great, then maybe that's not the right person. Because if you have to say, with my help, if they would be great if they had your help. If they're not great today because they're doing drugs, alcohol, and, whatever it is, then maybe you shouldn't be using your time, your energy on that person, because you're going to be wasting years. Okay, just saying. Fixing, and if you notice a pattern in yourself, fixing, helping, saving, this guy, that guy, and if it's a new partner all the time, but it's always the same pattern, then you have to change your pattern. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Next sign we're going to talk about is Pisces. If you're a Pisces rising, right, you're wanting a partner who is a Virgo energy. And what is Virgo energy? Virgo energy is very critical, analytical, and detail-oriented. It is also the service-oriented service-oriented sign. So your person could be wanting, like, I call them Captain Save-A-Hose, right? They want to help, fix, help, and save people. And that's their good quality, right? That's wonderful. Maybe they're a doctor. Maybe they're a nurse. Maybe they're always, help in the service industry in some way, right? But the negative side of that sign is they could be so critical and analytical, not only of themselves, but of you. And if they start being so critical and analytical that nobody is perfect enough, you're not perfect enough. You got to change this and change. You got to change that. To the point where it's chipping pieces of you away, then that's not a healthy relationship for you. So that's what you have to look at, okay? All right, and don't always think that you have to turn yourself inside out for somebody else, okay? All right. Now, the next sign is Taurus. Taurus, if you're a Taurus rising, your 7th house cusp is Scorpio. So you're attracting Scorpio energy. And what is Scorpio energy? Scorpio energy could be off the chain, like, oh my God, the intimacy could be out of this world, right? Sex could be great. However, and they want that mind, body, soul connection. Not surface level, but intense, deep, passionate. We're going into the depths. I want to know all about you. I want to learn you from the inside out, right? And that's crazy. That's wonderful, right? That sounds like passionate and crazy, right? Good, crazy good, not bad, right? And then there's the negative side of that sign, and it's like possessive, controlling, manipulative. I'm going to possess you. You're mine. Nobody else can have you, right? Or if you don't do this, then this, right? Manipulation, right? Or, empowered struggles and power plays, right? And that could be very negative, right? Real quick, So the best thing if you're a Taurus rising is don't get, Tauruses have a tendency, their senses are heightened. Taste, touch, smell, so they could get lost in the intimacy and the sex part of it and get crazy over that, right? Go slow, though. Try to go slow. Get to know your partner slowly, right? And even though, I'm going to tell you, with Scorpio ruling your 7th house, it's like that part usually comes quickly, right? Because you're thinking, when I'm intimate with this person, all the secrets come out. I want to learn them from the inside out, or they want to learn you from the inside out, right? That could happen. But when it starts bordering possessive, controlling, manipulation, and I'm going to say, with this energy, when a partnership, when it's good, it's good. It's great. But when it sucks bad. You know what I mean? So you just want to get to know someone before you get all intimate with them and everything. So are they some psycho who's going to stalk me? Are they, so possessive and controlling, they're going to drive me crazy? Are they, manipulative, and it's also very psychic. Scorpio is very psychic sign. So honestly, you could be one of these people who gets with a person who's like Teresa Caputo, she's like the psychic medium or something. That could be too, and this person, Scorpio energy will go to where angels fear to tread and live. This person could be fearless and could be, this person, I'm going to tell you, your partnership may transform you on a deep level, whether it's good or bad. A partnership for you can transform you on a deep level, good or bad, okay? So you're wanting to look at some of those good qualities, right? But my best advice to avoid some of the bad qualities is take it slow. Don't go crazy in the bedroom right away, okay? That's my advice, okay? All right, Libra. If you're a Libra rising, your 7th house cusp would be Aries. So you're going to be attracting an Aries type energy. Not an Aries themselves, but an Aries type energy. And what is that? That could be someone who's very athletic. very into their body and how their body looks, right? And they could be very physical. This person could have no grass under their feet. Maybe they're an entrepreneur and they're goal oriented and they're ambitious, right? That's great. All of that stuff is great, right? Yeah, the negative side of Aries is abusive, right? They can see, Aries energy is ruled by Mars. Mars is a malefic planet, so they could be abusive, using their energy in a negative way, right? Because Mars rules passion, but it also rules aggression, right? So you want to make sure they're not being aggressive toward you. Nobody, whether you're a man or a woman, should lay hands on you, ever. And the minute they do, you need to walk away, because it doesn't usually get better, it gets worse, okay? So I'm going to tell you, like, this type of energy, you could attract people in uniform, male or female, military, police, firefighting. You could be attracted to guys or women in uniform. Men usually like a woman who's assertive and goes for what they want. They could be even aggressive females, right? And if you're a female, you could like a man's man, the bodybuilding type, the guy who's like Mr. Muscles, or he's always at the gym, or he could be athletic trainer, or a boxer, a fighter, a cop, a fireman, whatever. He could even be an entrepreneur, or like a business guy too, right? But usually this person isn't like, oh, I'm so scared of that person, or I'm so shy. No, they're not shy at all. They're really assertive. But again, the only negative aspect of this is an abusive person. And I'm going to tell you, if you get involved with this, run, do not walk. Okay? Because you don't, it doesn't get better usually. It gets worse. All right. Leo, for you, if you're a Leo rising and you have Aquarius ruling your 7th house cause, so Aquarius for you type of partner would be somebody who goes to the beat of their own drum, somebody who's independent, somebody who's a humanitarian, right? Eccentric, right? Somebody who doesn't like to be told what to do, possessed, controlled, none of that. In fact, they can be a little detached and like to do their own thing sometimes, right? The only difficult thing with this aspect is this person could have that I could take you or leave you attitude. So that is why it's not good to tell a partner, well, if you don't do this, I'm doing this, and or I'm going to leave. If you don't do this, then I'll leave. And then your partner would be like, okay, leave. Because Aquarius has the energy of being detached. This is the energy that if you say, they have that I could take you or leave you energy, and I could turn my emotions off like a switch. I like my own energy. I like being by myself, so I don't care if I'm by myself, right? So they may have that type of energy, and the best way to make a situation work with this type of energy, a partnership, is if both of you are independent and do your own thing, and you come together as fixed whole people instead of you complete me type of energy. The whole you complete me type of energy does not work here. So, partnership does not want somebody who's a Klingon. Somebody who, this person is usually like, I'm independent, I do my own thing. I like helping others. I care about the planet. I care about other people. But I necessarily don't revolve my life around another person. That's not this type of energy. In fact, you could have an unconventional type of marriage. Maybe, you're famous, Leo, and they, you see this person, maybe they're a pilot or something, and they travel to, and you meet in the middle. That could be a thing. Or maybe, you're together and you feel like, we don't need that type of a piece of paper for marriage. We already know we're committed to one another, right? That's the kind of unconventional type of energy I'm talking about. Or we're married, but we live in separate houses. He lives next door and I live here. Something like that, right? There's something unconventional about the marriage, the relationship that could be happening. And there's an element of needing certain type of freedom or detachment happening here, okay? So the best thing to do is, if you're trying to control the partnership or marriage and it's got to be this way, you may have more breakup situations that are a pain in the ass in themselves, right? The more you say, okay, F it. You do you, I'll do me, we'll be together. And being best friends is going to be huge. If your partnership starts as a friendship, you are building solid foundation. Because Aquarius loves starting things out as friends. Yep, and it could grow into something more. That would be my best advice, is to start out as a friendship. Yeah. Your partnership, or you could be involved in groups, organizations, all of that stuff, even humanitarian efforts could be a thing too. But there's an element of, I need my own space sometimes. So you need to look at that, Leo. Anyway, I hope this was helpful to you guys. If you want more of a personal reading on your personal birth chart and want me to look at every aspect as far as your partnerships and your love life, you could book that on the website. Just go to lauralovecoach.com and click on services, and then go to recorded readings and go to the love reading, and I can help you out. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and I